And of course, we have problems already. That's basically what happens here. We're going to have problems every single time because that's what Murphy's Law is. I say Murphy's Law, and something, of course, happens. So I am using my new phone for this also. We're going to probably something with the settings. I don't know. Didn't have a chance to take a look at it. We're going to try to do this thing tonight. Let's see what happens. Let's go over to the code, and hopefully we get somewhere with this stuff tonight. All right. So we're talking about hex codes today. Hex codes are what we use in HTML and CSS in order for us to create colors, basically. We're not going to be doing the 6-digit codes, although I'll show you what one looks like. We're actually just going to be playing with the 3-digit ones. So we're going to make a couple of different divs here. We're just going to have them as IDs, so we know that they're individual ones. And I'll just call these things color 1. And I'm going to make a couple copies of these. Let's make 6 of them. And I'm going to change this to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have 6 divs in here. Okay. And I'm going to put a style on all my divs. That's going to be like, let's get a margin on them so they stay away from each other. Let's do it like 16 pixels. Let's get a height of 150 and a width of 150. Okay. So you can't see them just yet, although you could tell that there's a whole bunch because there's a scroll bar over here. And it will save the work. Now what we'll do is I'm going to put a couple colors on this stuff. So the first one I'm just going to target here. I'm going to say background color. And we're going to talk about red. So that's the first one right here. Okay. Now the pure red color, just like this, as a hex code would look like this. It would be the hash symbol F00. Okay. Now what this hash actually represents is this first character here or actually all the characters, but this first one is an alpha. It's a hexadecimal notation. Basically means that we would use all the numbers from 0 to 9. So we do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we have to get to 16. So instead of having double digits, we actually start using letters. So the number 10 is represented as the letter A. The number 11 is represented as B. And then finally, the number 15 is represented as F, okay, which is right over here. So that gives you 16 characters, right, from 0 to 9, which is 10 characters. And then the next 6, which is the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, is A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay? And F being the highest of this row. So this row right here, the first character, I should probably call it column because I'm thinking of it this way. The first character here represents the amount of red that I want in my color value. Okay, so this is the amount of red, and because it's the highest number at letter basically at F, which represents again 15 in our particular case, it's got as much red as possible for our color. So that's what that is there. Now, because this character here and this character here are both 0, these represent the green and blue values. Okay, so it's RGB. So it's a whole bunch of red, as much red as possible, no green and no blue. That's what gives us a full red color. All right, so that's why we have a full red color over here. Let's do color, I can't spell, folks, color 2. Okay, let's give it a background color. And like I said earlier, we're going to do green now. Okay, that's the green one. And we want to do as much green as possible, but use our hex code, so we want no red, all the green, and no blue. Okay? Now you can see that those are two different greens that I showed you. That the keyword green is different from giving it full green in the hex code. All right. You could also look up what the keyword for colors are and relate the hex codes. It's probably on the internet somewhere. I like to use the hex codes. They're a little bit more specific. Now we're going to do blue. So it's no green, I'm sorry, no red, no green, and all blue. So that's what that is right there. Okay? Now if you want to make different combinations of colors, and actually let me just do a quick float on this, just to get the boxes to get in next to each other. There we go. So now let's do a combination here of a couple of colors. We'll do background color, and we'll do FF0 and see what we get. That's now red and green combined with no blue, and that gives us a nice yellow color. Okay. Let's do another one here. Background color. Let's do F0F. That's going to give us this magenta or pink. I'm also color deficient, so if it's not exactly the color that you see, then it might be the monitor, it might be just me. And then we'll do this last one here, which is going to be 0FF. That's like a light teal, maybe. All right, so those are the some really basic colors that you could put together. Of course, like I said, you could do this as a 6-digit as well. It's common for it to be 3 if you don't want to be very specific or very granular in terms of what colors you want, because this is also written as, and I'll put it in comments here so we could all see. This is the same as writing. Come here now. FF0000. Okay? So basically, if you have it as a 3-character version, which is uncommon, but sometimes it's good just to be quick about it if you would like, it's actually more common for it to be 6 characters like this. All right? So if it's only 3 characters, what happens is the code will actually just double up each one of these characters. So it's basically doubling up the Fs, doubling up the zeros, doubling up the zeros here, and that's what this looks like over here. So if I just copy this and I'll send it down a little bit, so you could see what these would amount to. Okay, we're just going to put some comments in here so we could see what this stuff would look like. Okay, these are doubling up on the Fs. Double up on the Fs in the back. And then finally, cool. Now, of course, you might want to know, like, what is it all FFs and what is all 00s? Well, if you can imagine, let's do color 7 and color 8. Again, this is going to be all Fs, so we do FFF, and you'll notice that you can't see anything, and that's because that is white. Color 8, and I'll put a border on it so you can see where the boxes are. And then all zeros is all black. There you go. Okay. So let's put a border on it so we can see where this is. Border, 1 pixel, solid. Now that'll give us a black solid one, but now because we know how these colors work, I can actually make a gray color for myself. Now a gray color would be somewhere between 000 and FFF, and it could be any of those numbers or letters in between. And what I like to do is I like to use the same one over and over again. So a light color would be something that's higher, right, closer to white. So it's something like maybe the D's, so a whole bunch of D's right here. All right, so you can see there's a light border that's happening here. If I want something darker, then I have to get down toward the numbers. So maybe I will do like a 555. And you see how dark that is now, right? And if you want something like in the middle, you do 888, right? Because that would be toward the middle, between 0 and 15, or 1 and 16, whatever you like to call it. That's like the mid-range right there. So it's like the middle gray. That would be the 888. All right? And that's the general gist of it there. I'll save it there for everybody to go ahead and take a peek at. And if you hopefully followed along with me, that's great. I'm sorry again for the technical difficulties. I just can't get around it sometimes for whatever reason. My box likes to disconnect from me just mid-stream. Again, we're going to try to figure this out and see what the hell happened at some point. I'm just been very busy, so no complaints though, right? No complaints, no excuses. Let's just do it live. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me.